Okay, I'd like to call to order. Today is Wednesday, May 23rd, the fiscal year 2018-2019 Metro Council budget hearings for the operating budget. To the audience, viewers, Metro department heads and personnel, Budget and Finance Committee members, and Metro Council members, welcome. Today will be our last hearing. I also want to take the opportunity to thank Director Lomax O'Neill and her team and council staff for working diligently to ensure we had our materials. Remember, today, per rule, we'll be discussing operating budget only. In consideration of time, Budget and Finance Committee members will be recognized first, and time permitting, other council members will be recognized. If there are additional questions, council members, as you know, you can go ahead and submit those additional questions to the respective department so that those questions and answers can be compiled and uploaded to the SharePoint. Before us, we're going to have, starting off, we have the Board of Fair Commissioners to Fairgrounds. And with that said, we have Director Laura Womack, and we'll just go ahead and jump into it. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to address you today in regards to the Fairgrounds operating budget. With me is Scott Wallace. He is our Events and Marketing Manager. Has a lot of insight on our special events and our building rentals. Our budget, our operating budget, is pretty straightforward. It is flat to last year. And just like last year at this time, we took a very conservative approach to revenue with all of the planning and improvements and considerations for the MLS Stadium and mixed-use development. We wanted to be realistic with revenue projections, as well as trying to control expenses as much as possible. I will point out that we have very few accounts that we can have a certain amount of flexibility with to control. We've got a lot of fixed costs like utilities and such that are pretty flat over the years. We do have 2 vacancies currently. We are actively recruiting to replace a finance manager, so that hopefully will be filled in the next several weeks. And we also will be eliminating 2 positions in this budget. It's pretty straightforward. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Any council members seeking recognition? Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Chair. Well, Director, you know, I've never been one to mince words, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the concerns that I have and what I'm hearing from people throughout the community, people in my district, et cetera. I'm going to ask this question first. I tried to find the answer out, and in fact, I'll ask Budget and Finance, or I'll ask the Finance Department. I think we went through, and Mr. Riebling, perhaps you know this, I think we went through several years where we subsidized the fairgrounds since I've been on the council. Now, we're not doing it this year. I don't think we did it last year or a year before. Am I correct on that?
Yes, yes, last year you did not.
Okay, and maybe the year before that. So that part's great, but I do believe we subsidized it prior to that. Am I remembering that wrong?
No, you're remembering that correctly, Councilman. There were a few years where the general fund had to provide a subsidy.
Okay, so that's what leads me to my question. So there was also a referendum that the people of Nashville voted overwhelmingly that says prior to making changes at the fairgrounds, it will come before the council and it requires 27 votes, or it goes back to the people to vote and whatnot. Now, been a lot of stories with regards to the news media about apparently a design, tearing down buildings, moving the flea market, doing all these various things. And so my first question is, who's paying for that design work? Where is that money coming from? Because it was my understanding that, and I realize, Chair, and indulge me for just a second on this, please. It was my understanding that out of the capital dollars we gave you guys, it was to improve the existing buildings and to fix some of the things that were in place there. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But where's that money? How's that being paid for?
Chairwoman Vercher, Councilman, that money is being out, the design money, we do have a contract with Atkinson and Associates that we procured, and that design money for improvement to the fairgrounds is coming out of that fund.
Okay, and what fund would that be, please?
It's the capital fund.
Okay, it is the capital fund. Okay, so before the council votes to give permission to, quote, tear down buildings, do this, do that to the fairgrounds, why are we actually doing what we're doing right now? Because, this is the reason I started out with the questioning I started with. The subsidies we gave came from tax dollars from all over the city. And the money that was provided to the fairgrounds came from taxpayers in Nashville. The same people are the ones who went out and voted and said, you won't change it until we all agree, or until 27 of us agree. So there's a group of us who feels like we're just being railroaded. And as I've expressed to you, I mean, I'm saying it publicly because I'm not afraid to hide behind this. We feel extremely railroaded that you're just moving along. But yet it's the taxpayers of Nashville who have provided the subsidies, who have provided the land, who have bought the property way before we ever existed. And so that's why, from my standpoint, not only am I confused, but I'm frustrated and irritated, quite frankly, because I think we're bypassing the process. And so that's why I'm asking the question. I'm happy that we don't have to subsidize it anymore. I think that's great. What I don't think is great is ignoring what the people voted on and what the taxpayers think we have, and perhaps we're just being rolled over. So with that, Chair, I'll let them answer. And if you want to respond back, at a later date on that. But I think it's a legitimate question. And I firmly believe that anybody who has been paying attention to it, that is a Nashvilleian, that's been around here for a few years, that was here during the referendum, they certainly feel like they are being ignored completely. And I'll close with this, and completely disrespected. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Councilman. That is noted. We can address that again when we start discussing capital. Thank you so much, Councilman Glover. Councilman Cooper at large.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and thank you, Laura, for being here. Just to collect the facts on different sources here, if you didn't mind, you were just saying that the design money came from the capital fund, and that's the design being executed by whom for what? Right now.
Councilman, it is the design for all the improvements we've done to date. For instance, currently we're making significant upgrades to the Speedway concourse and grandstands. That design money is coming out of that capital design fund on that contract that we procured in 2017.
Okay, and who's performing that work?
Atkinson and Associates.
Okay, so then is it Goebel Hayes contract, the recent design review committees, or hasn't there been an award to them?
No, sir. Gobble Hayes is our program manager.
Your program manager.
To help us develop our update our improvement plan.
To update, so are they working for Atkinson on this?
No, they work for
separate.
Metro. They have a contract with Metro.
Okay, with Metro, not with the Fair Board.
Correct.
Okay. So with Metro, but doing work on the fairground space, but not for the Fair Board.
They do represent the Fair Board for the project.
Okay. And then the Larry Atama contract on work about the soccer stadium at the fairgrounds that was paid for by the Sports Authority. Am I being correct? The Fair Board did not pay that contract.
Correct.
That contract was paid for by the Sports Authority. Okay. Okay. So and then the parks, the Fair Park, right? Now that that any Fair Board money going to pay for that?
Not yet, but we have set aside in our overall budget $1 million to contribute to infrastructure that also supports the fairgrounds on that site. But the $6 million that was appropriated in both the 17 and 18 budgets is in the Metro Parks budget, and they manage that project.
In the Metro Parks budget?
That's correct.
Part of capital. But that $1 million is not coming out of your operating budget?
No, sir.
Okay, so that would be a future Metro allocation drawdown that then would go to
Correct.
the Parks Department?
It would go towards that project.
To reimburse the Parks Department? Okay.
It's our piece.
Okay. Do you know what the value of the improvements to Fair Park are projected to be?
I don't have the exact figure, but it's in around $8 million.
Okay. So that's $8 million for Fair Park, and then how much is the value of this? How much will the Atkinson work cost?
I don't know if I have capital figures with me. Don't quote me, please. I'm trying to recall because I didn't bring
I won't
capital
quote you,
with me.
but we are on television. So.
True. I mean, in order to get you accurate, they have a contract for a set dollar amount, and I can get you that.
Okay,
I
but
didn't
that's
bring
in
capital
the
with me today.
million.
Excuse me?
It's in the million?
In and around one.
In and around one, okay. And how much is the Goebel Hayes contract?
They are paid on an hourly basis.
Okay, is there an estimate? Is there a cap? Is there a ceiling?
It's an indefinite delivery contract, so we will define that as we also progress.
Okay, and then how much money was from the Sports Authority contract?
I
for
can't
Larry?
answer that. I'm sorry, sir, I don't know.
Okay, and then have any buildings been demolished at the fairgrounds?
Yes, 5, and you voted on that in March of 2017.
So no buildings have been demolished other than the ones that were authorized, that were viewed as in such poor repair, it was a public hazard to leave them?
That is correct.
Okay, but only those 5?
Correct.
Then. And have any services or any current activities, again, this goes back to the referendum, serve notice that they are not going to be on the fair site?
No,
Has the
sir.
flea market, has the state fair, any of these historic services?
No, sir.
Okay. And then how long is, just a couple of more questions, just getting, so many people are doing work on your space that aren't you, ends up being complicated. The racing operator, once again, their lease for how long?
5 years.
5 years, and how much do they pay per year?
$186,000.
Okay.
Base. There's a little bit of commission in there with concessions, but they have a base rate of 186.
And they're not obligated to any capital spend or improvements at the facility?
Actually, that
contract?
was part of their proposal to contribute $500,000 in improvements to the track. It's a good complement. You know, we're working on the grandstands and the concourse right now, and they've started some improvements on the infield. So we're complementing, and we're working very closely with them so that we're not duplicating, and we're doing complementary work.
Okay. So the legal relationship between the Fair Board, Park, and Metro has clearly spent a lot of, or some money over the years, either from the general fund or from one of these other sources, including parks. Is that always only a one-way ratchet? Say you were to come into a huge amount of money, you know, that for some reason, come into a huge, and you began to run a natural surplus for the Fair Board. Legally, could any of that money come to Metro?
I think that's probably a question better answered by finance.
But that's only a one-way path, or is it a two-way path, should you come into a ton of money, so to speak?
I mean, if history's an indicator, I'm very aware in past years, we have had a significant fund balance in the past. But as far as this back and forth that you're saying, I'd like to defer to finance.
Okay. Whether there's any net money coming back. And then finally, do you pay property taxes in lieu of taxes? Anything back to Metro for the, you know, you're somewhat independent. NES is independent, but it
Right.
makes an in lieu of tax payment.
We are obligated to pay sales tax on certain items. For instance, we act as a pass-through for our vendors for their
But so
taxes, and we also have to pay tax on our parking revenue.
you pay metro tax on the
We
parking revenue?
pay, I believe it's state.
Just state tax on the
Yes.
parking revenue? But there's no in lieu of property tax payment
Not that I'm, no.
you make. Is that legally possible? Okay. For another question, if you didn't mind, I would appreciate that follow-up. Thank you very much. A treat to see you as always.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Cooper. Seeing no other committee members seeking. Council Lady Hurd at large.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Director Womack. I'd just like to have, I know last year you all provided me with the demographics of the fairground, and I was just wondering if there had been any changes to that information, or if you can give me an update status of it.
Absolutely. There hasn't yet, but I did mention earlier, I don't know if you were in the room, we do have 2 vacancies, so we are looking to fill 2 positions in the next, hopefully, several weeks.
Okay,
So I can update you once that process is complete.
that would be great. Thank
Happy
you.
to.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilman Bettany.
Thank you, Chair. Can I ask a question to Mr. Jemison?
Absolutely.
Mr. Jemison, does the state law that just passed, does it also obligate people that are contracted by Metro or with Metro to follow the same law?
It does.
So I think I need to ask you to find out how to get everybody that contracts with you, I mean, all the vendors in the fairgrounds, to take some kind of a training on immigration, because they become agents that are required to enforce immigration law. So I think you will have to start revising all your contracts to include language where they have to also get training on immigration enforcement. And obviously, I will require that you have your staff being trained in immigration law, because we don't want to have people that are lawful in this country to be deported by mistake, because we could be liable. I mean, it's immoral, but also because we could be liable for it. So if you could do both things, I mean, I know many immigrants like to come to the fairgrounds, and so that's a situation where we will be putting our employees at risk of making a mistake. And so if you could, one, make sure your staff, that you put on the budget the training for your staff, and also revise all the contracts you have with the different vendors that come to the fairgrounds, so they are also aware of this, and they provide some kind of a certification that they're being trained in immigration law. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Bettany. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Director, for being here. I've got just a couple of quick questions, kind of follow up on some things that were brought up. On the previous demolition that we voted on as a body, I think you were talking about early 2017, did y'all, what kind of prep work was done to identify those buildings as maybe eligible or for consideration for demolition?
We had an extensive site assessment, a report that was done in cooperation with engineering students from TSU. They went through and looked at all of our infrastructure, so all of our buildings, roads, bridges. As a result of that work, 5 structures were identified as being unsafe and just not in a condition to inhabit. So those buildings were slated and brought to council for demolition because of that study.
Okay, from the preparation that was done
Correct.
prior to bringing it to the council?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other thing I was going to ask was, and this may be a question for finance, my understanding from working with this property for several years is that when there was a subsidy that was given in previous years, not in the last couple of years, that part of that, or at least at some point, the fairgrounds was running a pretty big surplus at one point, probably I'd say 25 years ago, that those funds, at least part of those funds, actually were drawn down from the fairgrounds property surplus that it had gathered over the years, that they were having to draw down from that. I don't know that I'd expect you, Director, to know that. I might ask Director Lomax.
In terms of the fund balance, many years ago, the Fair Board did have a significant fund balance available, and they began to draw on those fund balances, and then eventually those balances basically were depleted. And at that time, then the city started to provide a supplement for the fairgrounds.
And how are they depleted?
They were just spending them on specific projects and operating costs at the fairgrounds. Essentially, expenses were exceeding the revenue collections. It's that simple.
Okay, well, I'm glad we're at a point now where that's not happening. So thank you. That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you so much, Councilman. Councilman Hager.
Thank you, Director Womack, for being here. I got in a little late, but I want to look at these figures here on your revenue. I noticed the revenue is down from last year in 2016 and 17. What do you attribute that to at all?
I think Scott can also answer this. We've had some decreases in building rentals. While we've done a fantastic job at engaging new events, I believe it was 46, 48 new events that we attracted this year. We have a tendency to be that site where a lot of events cut their teeth. You know, somebody wants to do something, they start out with us, and we invest in them in their infant stages and grow with them. We've got several events, you know, that we've done that with recently that started out in one small building and now are renting one of our larger buildings. So it's an investment that we do. So even though we have a lot of new touches, you know, they're not necessarily bringing in a lot of revenue. For instance, there are a couple shows that have decided to relocate. Wilson County, as many of you know, has a brand new expo center, and we did lose the boat show out to Wilson County. And we also had, in that year, had two very, very large dinosaur shows that we got a lot of revenue from, and they have since relocated to a smaller venue out in Franklin.
Now, as I recall, the gun shows brought in about, what, $300,000 a year, $350,000, does that sound about right?
About $250,000 a year.
How much?
$250,000.
Per year?
Yes.
Okay. And your contract on the racetrack is with Formosa, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is that a triple net lease? Does it go up every year under that 5-year agreement or not?
No, sir, it's 186
So it's
per
just
year.
constant?
It is.
Okay. And
It
what
is. There are some things that if they hit a certain revenue, so if they hit a revenue of $1 million, there is a provision in there for us to split anything above and beyond the 1 million, 50-50. And then there are things like revenue from concession commission, and then certain lighting fees when we have to turn the lights on the track at night.
All right. Do they take care of anything as far as spending money on the racetrack and the grandstands and stuff or not? Or is
Yes,
that
sir.
in
The
agreement?
Formosas are very good partners with the fairgrounds. They take care of all the day-to-day maintenance, litter pickup, lawn mowing, cleaning restrooms. They're great partners.
Okay. Have you ever hit the $1 million revenue stream or not?
Our contract we're on month 2, so this is new. So we've got 5 years ahead of us. So
Okay. And who's going to audit that to make sure they're complying with that agreement?
we do have audit provisions in the contract, and we will work with them to audit that.
All right. Does the CMA Fest, do they use any facilities anymore? No, they used to.
No, we'd love to have it back, of course. But no, we have, we're doing a lot of parking. You know, we help supplement that from really busy when Bonnaroo and CMA and the Preds were in the playoffs. You know, we help to facilitate, you know, that traffic and off-site parking and shuttles and such. But we would love to have them back.
Okay. I'm just looking at ways to raise this revenue because I know y'all used to run in the black all the time, as I recall. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hager. Council Lady Johnson, Mina Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Director Womack. I have just one quick question. On the fairground facility, especially, you know, flea market vendor and so forth, they are using that facility for their livelihood. So when you upgrade and, you know, remodel those buildings, and, you know, how it comes out will affect their ability to participate and so forth. So for that sense, could you talk to me about public input and process, how the people who may be affected by improvement, if they have what kind of public input opportunity to participate in those kind of improvement process?
I appreciate you asking that question. We started public engagement workshops last week, Thursday. We had 2 community visioning sessions, one in the afternoon and one in the evening, where we invited everyone in from the public, our vendors, our event promoters, anyone who is interested in lending their input. It was very interactive. Each table was facilitated to answer some specific questions about, the future improvement efforts and site plan for the fairgrounds. We knew that it was very important because of the size of the vendor group and their, as you explained, their investment in that property, to have a special session. So we will actually be meeting with them separately on this coming Friday from 5:30 to 7:30, just specifically with the vendors to get their input on the improvements to the fairgrounds.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady. How is that communicated to the public?
We sent approximately 4,000 postcard mailers, social media. We sent direct emails to our event promoters, and several articles in the Tennessean, and we also appeared on several news shows.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Lastly, Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Chair. So I feel like I got to circle back around to a couple of things, and especially the last question that was asked with regards to the timing of doing the input. We're right in the middle of a massive budget situation. So for myself, for other council members, I'm not going to speak for other council members. For myself, it's virtually impossible for us to attend these meetings. Simply because if you're doing it at 5 to 7 at night, I think it's pretty safe to say, Chair, we've been here just about every night over the last several weeks, and I'm pretty certain we're going to be here a lot until whatever time we pass the budget in June. And so from that standpoint, I think that's where a lot of the distrust comes in place because, and again, I'll speak on my behalf only, it makes it look like you're trying to go around us. And again, that's my opinion. But I'm going to ask this question. The work that's being done to design all the layout and all the things we've seen in the media, somebody had a vision in order to point them in a given direction. So I'm going to ask you as the director of the Fairgrounds, what's your vision for a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now for the Fairgrounds as it exists today versus what it might look like 5 years from now? And what exactly does that entail? And what can the people of Nashville hope to receive out of it?
I'll answer that in a couple ways. One, the vision as you've seen it, the map that was shown on television, that was a direct result of the Fair Board voting and directing us to look, the design team, to look at the original concept plan that was submitted to you in October when the stadium was presented. It was take a look at this, evaluate it, study it, make sure that this is actually the best for the fairgrounds and its existing uses. Our charge in March from the Fair Board was to look at alternative locations for the fairgrounds buildings, not necessarily where they were shown in October when the stadium plan was released. And that's what we have been studying per their request. It is evident that there's a lot of pros to relocating the fairgrounds buildings down below to the north side of the track versus trying to construct buildings on a very difficult hill with a lot of elevation challenges. And I will say that we are absolutely considering the vote that was taken in October on the resolution for that stadium to be there. What we're trying to do.
You're talking about the funding piece.
We
Because
are.
we didn't approve, we just simply said, we get permission for the funding if all the other aspects and all the other components are met. So I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, and that is clearly understood, what needs to happen next. But I also feel it is my responsibility to both the Fair Board, to you, to administration, is to do our due diligence so that when it comes time for you to vote on that plan, that you have confidence that we have engaged the public, that we have studied all the possibilities and are presenting you with the best plan for the fairgrounds with that stadium and mixed-use development in mind.
So
That's
give me,
our charge.
give me the 10-day window, if you would, on when it will close as far as input and when contracts will begin with regards to who might build the stadium, the most cost-effective way of doing all of those various things. Has that 10-day window begun?
I believe it has when that intent to award, that is a sports authority initiated project, so.
So for those of us who are sitting out here and listening to this, I mean, can you understand our frustration? Because it doesn't feel like several of us who will be responsible for trying to be informed as well, because it's going to be this body who will give, says that we will vote and say, yeah, we're willing to take it and turn it upside down, because that's exactly what the design looks like. And from my standpoint, what we talked about last October, and again, I'm just going to talk about from my standpoint, but from my standpoint, what we talked about last October or November, whenever that actual vote was, I thought it was November, but October, whatever, irrelevant. All we did at that point was we gave permission to issue bonds. Again, let me emphasize, if every other piece of it fit into the overall puzzle. And nothing's been brought back to us. But what we feel like, and I'll say we, I'm talking about myself and various members of the public, what we feel like is that we're just being railroaded. Money's being spent, and this is what really confuses me. The top of the hill, where you say it's going to be complicated to be able to build there, isn't that where the 10 acres would be that we would, quote, give away for free?
Yes, that's what we're looking at.
Well, that's interesting, because if it's too challenging for us to deal with, but it's not too challenging to give it away, I find that fascinating. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. Director Womack, Mr. Wallace, thank you so much and everything that you do in serving this great city. That concludes your budget hearing. If we can have the farmers market to begin to make your way down as they are stepping down, we will continue.